The owner of a local moving company arrested outside a St. Louis courtroom today. He is facing mounting legal troubles after we shared the story of his company not completing a moving job, then selling customers' property online. New at 10, First Alert 4's Jordan Burrell introduces us to another woman who says the moving company took her for a ride. Jordan?
Corey, the owner of Super Cheap Movers, was arrested today in court for an outstanding warrant for stealing and fraud charges. Tonight, 2 more women are sharing their stories, including one who faced a suspect in court today.
What's his name? Duncan.
On Tuesday night, we told you about this man, the owner of Super Cheap Movers LLC, Treflin Duncan, also known by the alias Markel Robinson. He was taken into custody Wednesday morning by the St. Louis City Sheriff's Office, who says it was due to active warrants. This video shows when he was arrested at the courthouse while being sued for a different case involving one of his customers, Stephanie Mickles.
They demanded payment before they would start unloading at the first location. Reasonable, but the issue was I was originally quoted a price of $584. As we are pulling up to my house, the first drop-off location, I get a texted invoice for $980-something.
Mickles says she hired Super Cheap Movers on October 3rd. She needed help moving all of the items from her boutique to another location. She agreed to pay $584 total, but as the job continued, her balance nearly doubled.
All right, so what this is called, this is a common shady practice in the moving industry. It's called holding the customer's items hostage. All right, this is something that I've seen happen from both rogue moving companies. I've actually seen reports of it from licensed moving companies. Basically, what a moving company would do is they'd give a customer a quote, and they'd come start to perform the move. And then en route to the destination, they'd call the customer and then up the charges on them. And then if the customer isn't willing to pay the up fees, which are usually exorbitant, they usually take the items, right? If it's a licensed company that's a moving and storage company, they'll take it back to their facility and store it, right? So they'll tack on the storage fees until the customer pays. If it's a rogue company like this one is, they'll probably steal the stuff and sell it. But this is a practice that's been going on for ages. It's a deceptive practice of holding the customer's items hostage.
Desperate to get her belongings, she agreed to paying the $823.
I called the police, and all of a sudden he and his helper have to go use the bathroom.
Mickles says when she tried to pay the balance via the Venmo she sent the deposit, it flagged the charge as a possible scam. Duncan then asked her to send the $800 to a Cash App named Shoe Fetish by Gigi, something she didn't feel comfortable with as the names didn't match.
Shoe Fetish by Gigi. First of all, a licensed moving company is not accepting Cash Apps. A licensed moving company definitely accepts credit cards, right? You may be able to Zelle, right? But most licensed companies aren't going to accept a Cash App, and whatever form of payment they accept, when you see it, in your bank statement, it should be the name of their company. It wouldn't be a moving company. You wouldn't have to Cash App Shoe Fetish by Gigi. So obviously, another red flag.
Once the crew knew 911 was called, they went to the bathroom to never be seen again. Duncan told her to work with front office staff on paying the balance.
Hey, Markel, it's the same guy that was driving the truck the whole time, acting like he was at an office somewhere.
Mickles says her boutique merchandise was worth more than the $10 grand she's suing for. Her messages with Duncan show him mocking her attempts to pay and get the items back. She wrote a contract agreeing to pay $1,600. Duncan replied, LOL, that won't hold in court.
She found the company through a Google search.
So it looked like the guy that she hired to do the move not only took advantage of her, but he was trolling her as well. Interesting.
That showed that they were highly recommended.
Teresa Fuller says weeks later, her 70-year-old mother fell victim to Super Cheap Movers, hiring the same company to move her 2-bedroom apartment to Maryland Heights.
They chose the most valuable items they found in a home and made sure they put it on a truck.
Fuller says her mother was originally quoted $135 an hour for 2 hours. But in the middle of the job, she received this receipt saying the move would take 5 hours, and she now owed the company a remaining balance of $791.
Then he demanded $867 after he locked the truck. So after in distress, we went ahead and sent the money over.
Duncan then arrived to her new home, demanding even more money. When they refused, the crew attempted to drive off with her belongings. Teresa blocking the truck with her own car and calling police. Body camera footage from Maryland Heights Police reportedly shows the interaction with Duncan, but court records show they did not address his active warrant issued 2 weeks earlier. Police did confirm they had an encounter with Duncan, but say because he called the police, officers did not run his identification.
And he has been going.
So what probably happened when she blocked the car, right? He called the police, right? Because she was kind of like holding him hostage. So when he called the police, they showed up. Because he called, they didn't, pursue his personal information to even know that he had a warrant. So that's what happened. And they probably told the customer that this is a civil matter. We probably understand. They probably understood what was going on, but it was nothing they could do. They probably told her it was a civil matter.
Along with this deceptive practice of scheming individuals out of their money.
Now that Duncan is in custody, both women say they're hopeful for accountability. He is set for a bench trial in the new year.
Yeah, so it's been a nightmare.
So I want to look at some of these reviews from this company. But basically, this is a practice that has been in the moving industry for years, holding the customers' items hostage. So what'll happen is you'll get a quote from a moving company. They'll say, based on the scope of the work that you tell them when you call in or when they call you back to inquire about the move, they'll say, okay, well, we can do this move for you in 3 hours and it'll be $500. And then when they get there, they'll load up the truck and then they'll try to find some reason or some excuse to upcharge you. They'll say, well, it's a long carry. We got to charge you $500 more. Or you're on the 3rd floor. We got to charge you for the stairs. So it's going to go from $500 to now $1,000. And then they're not going to tell you that until they get everything on the truck. They either get halfway or en route to the destination, or when they pull up to the destination, and then they tell you this before they start unloading the truck. So now you're in distress, right? It's a tactic that's been used for years. Some customers will just pay it. A lot of customers won't, right? The customers that'll pay it is just because they don't want the issue. This is their life's work. These are their prized possessions. And then this is another reason why household goods moving is regulated way harder than general freight, right? The difference between household goods moving and general freight is when you're dealing with household goods moving, you're dealing with a customer's personal items, right? It's personal. So there's, things that are attached to these items. Like you'll never know. You might go move somebody and there may be an urn on that truck. So there's ashes that may be on that truck versus you moving general freight. If something happens to a load that you're moving that's general freight, there's no personal attachment to it, right? So it's treated more serious than general freight, but this is a deceptive tactic that has been used from both road moving companies and licensed moving companies for years. Determining factor from a consumer of how to prevent stuff like this from happening. Most moving companies, like for local small moves like this, they're going to charge you by the hour, right? So, I've never told a customer based on what they told me on the phone while I was screening the job, okay, well, this is going to take 2 hours. This is going to take 3 hours, because you just don't know. You don't know what to expect. You can give them a range, but at the end of the day, this is going to be 2 guys. It's going to be $100 an hour with a 2-hour minimum plus $150 truck fee. After the second hour, the move is going to be prorated in 15-minute increments. So whether the job takes 2 hours or 10 hours, we're charging by the hour. And after the second hour, it's going to be prorated in 15-minute increments. This is what it is, and I've always been transparent and telling the customer, this is what it is. We charge by the hour. I'm never going to sell myself short, not really understanding what to expect, because a lot of the times the customers won't give you the full scope of the job. They may not know certain things to tell you. This is why you charge by the hour, right? So a lot of moving companies will, or let me not say a lot. There are moving companies that operate like this, both licensed and unlicensed. Now, based on what I was seeing in the video there, how he was kind of trolling that customer, in the comments. I said, man, let me go look at some of his reviews. And the first review, they are not upfront about how they will charge you and will not invoice you. It's more than you have. They quoted me $300 for 2 hours. I knew I would need more and use this number, blah, 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 blah. But look at how he responded. So if we're talking about time and you were quoted for 2 hours, what happens if the move goes more than two? Like, as a professional in this industry, you're going to get negative reviews. There's no way you're going to be a licensed moving company for years and do hundreds and thousands of moves and just something doesn't go bad. I know there's large companies out there that have thousands of moves and they're rated a 4.9 and a 5.0, but there's a reason why. Being in this industry, I can tell you, big companies, when they get those 1-star reviews, they'll refund the customer. You know, they'll provide Amazon gift cards, right? Because large companies, a big portion of their moves, they depend on those reviews. So they'll spend some money to get a 1-star turned into a 5-star, right? A smaller company like this isn't going to do it. But even still, a customer that's shopping for a move, that's reading reviews, they may not 100% get turned away just because you have a few bad reviews. There's customers out there that are business people and they understand the review system. It's all how you respond. So when I'm looking at the way this guy's responding, he's responding sassy. So if we're like, this is how you start your response to a customer, regardless of the fact, okay, it's a 1-star. And what we know about 1-stars, normally when a customer is upset, they always exaggerate it, right? So they may have had a bad experience, but they're going to exaggerate it, right? So the way you start, so if we're talking about time, you were quoted for 2, that's sassy, it's unprofessional, right? He could have responded, but at the end of the day, you know, this is not a professional way to respond. It's kind of similar to how he was going back and forth with the customer in the video. In this one, you know, he's argumentative with the customer. I saw one in here, right here. My grandma always told me that if it doesn't make sense, it's a lie. So this customer puts a paragraph, 1-star review. This company are scammers. We only had a sofa love seat, a bedroom set, tote sofa love seat, dining set, living room set. The supervisor made the 2 workers break down the couches in multiple pieces to extend the time. He charged us $839 and added another $114. We should have known better when I saw how the company log was on the truck, like someone cut out letters and pasted them on. Supervisor was very unprofessional. He stayed in the warm truck while the 2 young men did all the work. Do not use this company. All right, this dude look kind of janky. You dig what I'm saying? It does look kind of janky, but let's see how he responded. After all of that, he says, this is how he responds to a customer. My grandma always told me that if it doesn't make sense, it's like, what does your grandma got to do with what this lady is saying? The way I would have responded, I would have said something like, you know, I apologize for any inconveniences this company has called. I'm upset, and I'm upset that we did not meet your expectations, something to that effect, and just apologize to the customer and say, hopefully you'll give us a chance to do a better job next time. I hope we get another chance to redeem ourselves. I'm willing to offer you a 10% or 15% or 20% discount if you give us another chance to get it right. Something to that effect. Like, you don't be argumentative with the customer. It's clear what type of person you're dealing with. And it just goes on. The reviews just go on and on. Look at this. Totally unreliable, terrible with communication, definitely not cheap. They were scheduled to arrive, blah, 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 blah. But then look how he responds. This long ass post is fake. I can't believe I wasted my time reading this long ass post. I tried to find who this person. It's just not how. Even if the post is fake, it could be a competitive moving company. That's a practice in the moving industry too. Competitive moving companies will write fake reviews on their competitors. You know what happens? A professional owner of a moving company, when that happens, we checked our system. We never moved a customer with this name. This isn't a real review. There's no one in our system of this name. We have no history of moving a person in this name. This is an unreliable review. Something to that effect. And you move on. There's nothing you can do. You can't get it removed. There's just nothing you can do, but there's a professional way to respond. This post, this long ass post is fake. I can't believe that's childish. So this is the owner responding to consumers. So there's red flags on why you would want to stay away from this company. It's unfortunate that, this happens, and these moving companies that do this, they know who to target. It's normally women that are moving that, don't have, a man, and don't take this the wrong way for the people that watch it. I'm just telling you how they target little senior citizens, women, people that can be easily put in a place of distress, that may not be aggressive if something like this happened. They're not going to pull this with a man, because a man ain't going for it. You don't know how far a man may go. They pull this with people that they can take advantage of. It's normally women and senior citizens. So, when you booking a mover, make sure you read the reviews, get everything up front in the contract, and, be safe. All right. Peace.